we are going to work on our video notes for lesson 17 today. We are actually going to start with a review. This is student exercise 4 from lesson 16. So we're going to make sure that we have these done. If you need to take a moment to pause the video to write down this information or to sketch out this table, do so now. Pause the video, and then when you are done, you can press play again. So we have Malia on a road trip. During the first 5 minutes of her trip, she sees 18 cars, and 6 trucks here. So I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting here, which you can do since you probably wrote this down or printed this out for your homework. Assuming this ratio of cars to trucks remains constant over the duration of the trip, complete the ratio table using this comparison. Let T represent the number of trucks and let C represent the number of cars. Okay, so because this is constant, when I annotate this, I can write that this is going to be a proportional relationship. Proportional relationship because there is a constant proportion with each ordered pair. Okay, so what is the value of the ratio of the number of cars to the number of trucks? We have 18 cars to 6 trucks. So if I simplify that and I divide both of these by 6, I'm going to end up 3 to 1. So it means there are 3 cars to 1 truck. Okay, so that's the first part with the ratio. So if there is 1 truck, then there are 3 cars. If there are 3 trucks, then there are 9 cars. If there are 6 trucks, there are 18. This was our original information given. 12 trucks, then there are 20, we're going to multiply 36. And then, because for every 1 truck, there are 3 cars. So you multiply your trucks by 3. And then to go backwards, if you're given the amount of cars and you need to find the number of trucks, you're going to divide by 3. So it means for 20 trucks, there are 60 cars. So this is a little different because before in our class, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 20. And now we're jumping around with numbers for our independent variable on this side. We get to choose, and it affects the number of cars. So what equation would model the relationship between cars and trucks? So to find out the number of cars we would take the number of trucks that we have, and then we would multiply it by 3. So to find out the number of cars, we take the number of trucks and we multiply it by 3. The other way to do it is if we have the number of trucks, if we have the number of cars and we divide the number of cars by 3, we're going to get the number of trucks. So there's 2 equations that we can use for this. At the end of the trip, Malia had counted 1,254 trucks. How many cars did she see? So how many cars, this is our find. Oh, I like to put brackets around my find. How many cars did she see? Well, C is equal to the number of trucks. 1, 2, 5, 4 times 3. And I didn't do it ahead of time. Whoa. We did 1, 2, 5, 4 times 3. And we're going to get 3,762. 3,762 cars. This is cars. And that answers how many cars. All right. Number 5, again, if you have to pause and write this down or sketch out your table, do so now. The only thing that is different is our table is now horizontal, which means this way, instead of vertical. Okay, Kevin is training to run a half marathon. His training program recommends he runs 5 minutes and walk for 1 minute. So let R represent the number of minutes running and W represent the number of minutes of walking. So our ratio is 5 minutes of running for every 1 minute of walking. So for 1 minute of walking, we have 5 minutes of running. we have 10 minutes, that's twice as much, so we do 2 minutes of walking. What do we multiply 5 by to get to 20? That's 4, so we multiply 1 times 4. If we have 8 minutes in our ratio and we need to do 5 times that amount for running, then we would have 40 minutes of running. And if we had 15 minutes of running, we would have 10 minutes of walking. So this one, you can fill this part out. And I, at this point, want to make an equation to make this another way for us to problem solve. So what is the value of the ratio to the number of minutes walking to the number of minutes running? Well, for every 1 minute we walk, we run 5 minutes. It's a little different because we're doing walking first on the left and then running on the right, but otherwise it's the same numbers. Now, what equation could you use to calculate the minutes spent walking if we know how many minutes are spent running? So our walking is going to be, how do we go if we know that we ran for 5 minutes, what do we multiply or divide by to get to 1 minute? Well, we can divide by 5. So you take your running minutes, if you divide it by 5, then you'll get your walking minutes. This one you can test too. So say we did 50 minutes of running. If we put 15 here divided by 5, we'd get 10 minutes of walking. So what I just did was I checked my answer by trying numbers, by plugging in numbers to verify. Plugging in. That's what I do. And if it didn't work, I would just fix my equation. All right, I'm going to pause this first video here, and then we have another video below where we're actually going to take some notes. These are just examples.